Hey guys, FBL Aspel here. Last week I was on FBL Hub and I got a lot of really nice messages about my team and my way of thinking and that I was very different to other people. And so I thought I would start just doing team reveals and week reviews on my own channel. So without further ado, let's get into the week just gone. So headline stat is a red arrow down 10 places or so. I got 92 points and my safety was 93, which is kind of insane, but that is the way it is when you're at the top. So the main thing is that I'm still the number one Fulham fan. So the last second I made some changes because I heard Zinchenko was injured and Robert Firmino was injured. I tweeted them out on my Twitter, so you should probably follow me on Twitter if you want to get what I'm doing up until the last second. So the big changes were that I decided to completely rejig my team to get Cancelo in. So I dropped out Zinchenko to get in Cancelo. I dropped Carvalho. I ended up dropping Carvalho in just to get the budget for it. I ended up dropping Mitrovic in to get the budget for it, to get rid of Firmino to get Mitrovic in. And yeah, this ended up being my team. So I thought that Robert Sanchez would outperform Nick Pope due to Southampton being a worse attacking team than Leicester. Sanchez ended up conceding and Pope did not. But Sanchez saved a penalty, got 9 points. He's a really big differential, so I was really happy with how that turned out. Defense, I was telling everyone Arsenal are going to keep a clean sheet against West Ham. It did not happen. Like, the only way I thought that West Ham could score would be either a Benrahma wonder goal or some VAR penalty that shouldn't have been given or whatever. What ended up happening was that Saliba, just back from the World Cup, that playing too much, had a dumb foul on Bowen. Benrahma scored the penalty, and yeah, no clean sheet. I probably would have been really, really high up. I think I probably would have been close to number one if Arsenal had kept a clean sheet. I ended up getting a screenshot of myself up at number seven at like during the Arsenal game when I still had 4 players left to go, which was awesome. I think it's pretty crazy to be 7 out of 11 million, but I didn't hold it. I didn't even finish in the top 100. I ended up going all the way down. So yeah, it happens. Oh well. Cancelo, Pep Roulette, man. I rejigged my entire team to get him in, and then he was dropped and got 1 point. Like, in the first half of the season with Foden, I kept getting 1 point, and then when I annoyed him and dropped him, he'd have a crazy score. Like, it happens. I'm a bit annoyed, but I'm gonna keep going away with these three guys, these three Man City players, because I think they are the three best Man City players. Trippier, not a lot to say, just best defender on the platform, wonderful. Midfield's where it got interesting. I felt like Carvalho was going to start and do really well, but Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain started. I felt Alex was pretty terrible. He had something like 8 completed passes and 12 possession lost, which is obviously not a good number. De Bruyne didn't get a decisive. He probably should have. Haaland had a big chance missed off a De Bruyne attempted assist, which sucked. Salah did great. I was really happy that I got him in instead of Kane, which is one of the big rejigs I did with my wild card, like my Christmas wild card. I was a bit nervous that Salah would do too well, like a lot better than Haaland, because there's one guy right at the top here who has Salah as captain, while I had Haaland and everyone else on the platform had Haaland. But Haaland ended up outperforming Salah, so that's wonderful. Almiron, really, really good goal. And then Mitrovic was the MVP of the week for me. I only decided to start him last second because I felt he could play through any injury. He is Serbian. Balkan people are generally crazy. I bet Mitrovic loves taking cold showers. He probably took whatever painkillers he had to and then played with a busted foot. And he's going to keep playing with a busted foot, and he's going to keep being one of the best forwards in the Premier League with a busted foot. So that's how my week went. I just want to have a quick look at my threats and just talk to you guys through that. So the big ones are in the middle here with Rashford, Martinelli, Odegaard, and Saka. They all did great. And that's part of the reason I fell out of the top 100 because these guys all did so great. It is absolutely fine. I think Arsenal are a much better attacking team than I thought they were when I watched them live. Like, I went to the pub to watch the game with some of my friends because I thought I could get rank 1 in FPL. So I had people buy me drinks and stuff. It was really, really fun. And it was less fun seeing Martinelli, Odegaard, and Saka play so well, especially Odegaard. I think for the double game week, I'm going to be rejigging my team a little bit just to try and get Odegaard in because I think he's just too good attacking. So I'll probably have two Arsenal defenders and a midfielder for the Arsenal and Man City double game week. So yeah, that's how that week went. So for the upcoming game week, this is one of my own dashboards. and it's telling me that Man City are the biggest favourites by miles. Part of the reason why I saw this from a bit out, and I decided I needed to get three Man City players in, and I felt the three most nailed were Cancelo, Haaland, and De Bruyne, which didn't quite work out last week. I might have been wrong about that. And then the top players is Haaland is a screaming buy, De Bruyne is a screaming buy, and then Salah. I have Kane gets a lot of points in my model for being really, really creative and having a lot of attempted assists. And then Mitrovic is up here, and he's actually penalised because he's still only 75% likely to play. And more Fulham players are up here, like Andreas is right up here, despite not playing for a top team. Otherwise, it's just all Man City and Liverpool players because they are the two big favourites. So I had to make a sub for my team, and the sub I decided to do was to drop out Gabriel because I want to free up an Arsenal slot to get up Odegaard. And the player I decided to get, if I'm going to bring up one of my other dashboards, it default goes to Holland. So defender, Fulham, and my mouse is dying. Kenny Tete. And yeah, there we go. Everything's loaded up. He's only owned by 0.2% of people. And this guy had 16 box entries against Crystal Palace. He had 3 attempted assists. He is Fulham's leading assist maker. Fulham are about to have a double game week. Like, if you see his scores throughout the year, like a 3, a 6, some bunch of 2s, injured for a long time. But he's back to full fitness now. I think we're going to see a lot of assists from him. And yeah, I think he's going to be this crazy differential for me. So this is my team reveal for the week. Pope and goals against Leeds. Cancelo against Everton. Obvious. Trippier, best turner on the platform. Kenny Tete in against Southampton. I'm going to be running triple Fulham against Southampton because if I go back to my upcoming game week on my own dashboard, this is localhost, by the way. It's a bit slow. So anyway, yeah, Fulham, 46% chance to win against Southampton. Seems a bit low to me. So does Man United only being 52% against Wolves. There's a lot of weirdness in this week's betting that I felt like could be exploited if I was still into betting, but William Hill banned my betting account and I got mad and I decided to quit betting, which is probably a good thing, and just to play FPL. Yeah, so I think Fulham are going to do really well. So there's 3 Fulham guys. I'm starting Carvalho. If he gets a 0, and I would probably have in Saliba or White because I kind of feel like we're going to have a situation, or whatever, ignore that. Arsenal are going to concede against Brighton because Brighton does really well against good teams. Salah against Leicester, perfect. Leicester still have a lot of injuries. De Bruyne nailed. Almiron, best value midfielder. Andreas, next best value midfielder. Haaland, probably the best value forward, despite being one of the most expensive players. And then Mitrovic is going to play through injury again, and he's going to do super well. And one other fun thing is that because I already have 3 Fulham players ahead of the next game week, I will be able to bring in a Chelsea player. And the Chelsea player I'm thinking of bringing in is going to be Kepa Arrizabalaga. So I like to make these big plans before each game week, and then if stuff happens, I change my mind, I will be able to see why and have a good reason. So I think next week I'll be able to have 4 players in the double game week. Then the week after I should be able to have 6 players. So I think I'm in pretty good stead to hunt down the top 100. Please follow me on Twitter at Connor Aspel, where I will be updating everyone on my journey. And thank you very much. See you guys next week.